Hi there, and welcome to the next video in the AWS series. Today we're going to look at recovery across AWS regions using the Resiliency Platform Data Mover. My name is Loreno Galelli. I'm the product manager looking after Resiliency Platform. So a quick highlight really of what we're going to be seeing today. We've got a couple of regions which have been configured in AWS. We've deployed Resiliency Manager, Infrastructure Management Server, and the relevant data movers, which will be the replication gateways for the workloads which are running in AWS. If we switch to the AWS console, what we're going to see now is a couple of virtual machines which are being deployed in AWS. There's a Windows and a Linux VM in here. These are both currently running in the North Virginia region. If we look at the other region where we're going to fail over these workloads to, we've got the infrastructure management server and the gateway replication gateway appliance, which is currently running in there as well. So eventually, what we'll see when we actually carry out the operations are those instances that are running in North Virginia. They'll be moved over to Ohio. Okay, so let's look at the resiliency platform. You can see our two regions which are currently running at the moment. So we've got North Virginia and we've got Ohio, which are there. If I look at the resiliency groups which are being created, we have a single resiliency group at the moment in here. We can see things like the replication is currently running at the moment. We've got the two virtual machines, VM1, VM2 for Linux and Windows. The ways that these are being created is exactly the same as our other videos in this series. If we edit the configuration, we can see the process. And if we just edit the configuration, we've got a couple of VMs in here. And again, we could obviously move more VMs over if we wanted to when we're creating the resiliency group. Here we're using the replication Data Mover technology from the Resiliency Platform. It's discovered the AWS regions that we'll be using. We're using recovery hosts service level objective, which will look to provide a 5-minute RPO. Here we're going to go to Ohio, again using Data Mover technology. Information about the instances which are running in the relevant region, along with data center information on things like reverse replication between those regions as well. Information on the instance type, which will be spun up in the DR location or the alternative region, along with the security group configuration, which will also be used for those instances. Finally, we've got some network information in relation to the MAC addresses and IP addresses, which are currently configured. We currently haven't got the DNS configuration here. If we wanted to, we could apply the relevant IP address for the subnets as we fail over as well. And then lastly, if you want some manual intervention, then you can apply that. So that's really the end of the configurational aspect for these resiliency groups. So I'll just cancel that for the moment, and then we can start looking at carrying out some operations. So what we can do here is we can actually just carry out a migrate as opposed to rehearsal for this demo. So here we've got the target data center as Ohio. And again, we can look at the progress of the operation. So we're going to go through the process of stopping the relevant instances, which are running in North Virginia at the moment. And then we'll look at the process as it moves forward to the other region for recoverability. Okay, so we're currently stopping the virtual machines. Let me have a look at the instances. So here now we can see the instances. They're currently either stopped or in the stopping state. So it's now actually going through that progress of moving these workloads from this region to the alternative region. So we'll just switch back to the Resiliency Platform user interface. If I expand this, we can see the current workflow progress. So we're just waiting for this final shutdown, and then we'll progress to the next state. So I'll just leave this here for the moment, and then we'll actually come back to the recording. So as we resume the recording, we can see that the VMs are now offline on the first region, and we have managed the reverse replication as well. So we're currently going through the process now of registering the new instances, and then we'll start those instances up. If we look at the replication, so let me just collapse this and expand the replication. You can see it's going through various checks in relation to the replication status and also the relevant roles of the replication appliances as well between the various regions that it's managing. So let me just collapse these back. Let's have a look at the AWS console. We can see now both those instances in North Virginia are stopped and terminated. And eventually what we'll see is the instances started on the relevant subnet along with the IP personalization that's been applied as well. So we're now on the final step. So it's currently starting the virtual machines with that we are migrating over. So let's have a look at the console and just see the status. So yeah, we can see them running. I'll just refresh. So yeah, our two VMs, Linux and Windows, they're currently running and they're currently going through the initialization stage at the moment. So once the relevant status checks have been passed, we should see a reflection of that by the final task being completed. So we'll just wait for that to finalize, and then we'll look at the relevant configuration. We can see now the virtual machines have started in the Ohio region. Took around about 29 minutes or so to carry out that operation. If we go back, we can look at the status of the resiliency group. So Ohio is our data center that's currently active, or the region that's active. We get information about the replication. So our replication is still connected, consistent. We currently have about a 4-minute, 50-second lag at the moment. And it's currently has finished synchronizing the relevant data changes as well. What we can also do on the home screen is we'll get a view of the operations and how long certain things took. So we can see there when a rehearsal was carried out, it was 28 minutes. The migration was about 29 minutes roughly in relation to the operation which we carried out. So once we're active on the alternative region, to get back, it's obviously quite straightforward. You can just right click and migrate back at your leisure. Obviously there's some downtime associated with that for around about 29 minutes or so. And you can obviously create a resiliency plan like I've shown in previous videos as well. So with that really concludes this demonstration, how easy it is to provide resiliency across regions with AWS using the Resiliency Platform Data Mover technology. Thank you again for your time today, really appreciate it. Hopefully you found this video informative as well.